Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It is Friday, November the 9th. Today is National Louisiana Day. It is Microtia Awareness Day. What is Microtia?
I have no idea.
I wonder if it's
Sounds
microtia.
like a disease.
Probably microtia. But I need to become more aware because it is, their awareness day. It's also National Scrapple Day today. So a lot of stuff going on. Also, I got a quote for today from Michelangelo. He's one of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
He is. I
He
liked
said,
him.
Lord, grant that I may always desire more than I can accomplish. I think this might be the Michelangelo painter guy instead.
Maybe.
It was. I'm just being
Although
silly.
Michelangelo the turtle was pretty deep.
He would have thrown a dude in there or something. So I got a great quote there, and I've also got a great guest coming up later. I've got Valerie Jones, and we're going to talk about nonprofit heroes. That is on the way. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Want to honor a veteran? Consider giving to Veterans Tickets Foundation, a national nonprofit who supports our currently serving military, veterans, and family members of those we've lost in action by providing them with free tickets to sporting events, concerts, performing arts, and family activities. VetTix is dedicated to giving back to those who gave us so much. Learn how you can help at vettix.org. VetTix.org.
Is it a golf course or is it a rehab center? Heidi, you got to tell me. This is either a golf course or a rehab center, and you got to try to determine which.
Okay.
West Oaks, Detroit, Michigan. West Oaks. Is that a golf course or is that a rehab center?
Golf course.
Sorry. This one is a rehab center. I really feel bad.
I know you do.
Feel awful when you get these
I know
wrong.
it's just devastating.
A little bit like happy dance in my head when she's wrong. That means I tricked you, so I succeeded. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. We're getting to the time of year where we start planning for holiday parties and other events that often include alcohol. I encourage you to have some alcohol-free options as well. And if you are drinking, be sure to have a designated driver. If you or someone you know has a problem with drugs or alcohol, there is help. TimeForRehab.com would love to connect you with someone who can be there for you or that loved one. If you feel like it's time to finally get the help you need, we're here for you. TimeForRehab.com. That's TimeForRehab.com. And this is your brain on drugs. A stockpile of weapons, including loaded handguns and semi-automatic rifles, were found in the back of a truck. Florida police found a driver passed out behind the wheel. 32-year-old David Goldhammer was arrested after officers found him unconscious in his pickup with the engine running. And guess what? He was smelling like alcohol. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was drunk as a skunk. They found 2 open bottles in the truck and all these vehicles and all these guns that were in the vehicle as well. Also had a gun in the waistband of his pants.
Yeah,
he was taken
that's a bad
into
idea.
Custody. Alcohol and guns don't mix. It's a bad idea. Interesting thing is, this happened in Florida. Guess what state he's from?
What state?
The same state as me. He's from South Dakota.
Yeah,
so
guns and alcohol.
I don't know him. He's 32.
Combination.
David Goldhammer. I don't know him. So I have to look and see if we have any mutual friends on Facebook. I don't know. Bad idea. He got a DUI, openly carrying a weapon and carrying a concealed weapon. So got himself in a bit of trouble. But that's
Was he
what
a
happens.
felon or something? He can't carry?
I don't know. There's all
it's one thing when you're intoxicated. You can't. You shouldn't when you're intoxicated.
A lot of stuff going on in this story. That's what happens when your brain is on drugs.
John and Heidi.
Now, big screen, little screen, brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com. Megyn Kelly reportedly reached out to Fox News about a potential return. She was let go from the other place there.
Yeah.
She got how much? Somebody said $63 million. Is that right? For her?
I have no idea.
Somebody said that her gig at NBC, she was paid $63 million
I have no
for
idea. I didn't.
6 months worth of work.
I haven't paid attention to her.
Or whatever the amount was. If you can make that kind of dough in 6 months, why are you even looking for another job?
Right.
I would just stay home for a while and say, you know what, I'm going to just relax. But supposedly she was interested in going back to Fox, and then according to the story, they said, Megan who? Sorry, no, not interested in that.
Didn't she snub them when because she quit, right? She left them.
Yeah, I don't. I honestly, I don't really remember how it all went down. But
yeah, I wouldn't.
Justin Timberlake, he's in the news. He's in in his new book, it says married couples, when they're getting married, they should say I will instead of I do, because people change over time. Okay, what does that mean? What's the difference?
Means I do. He means I do would mean I do right now.
Yeah.
I will means I will forever.
Oh, I got you. That makes sense then. Well, then I will, Heidi, forever and ever. Amen. Thank you for listening.
Don't you threaten me.
She's my wife. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Every day, approximately 23 U.S. military veterans take their own lives. Big Paws Canine Foundation is helping to decrease that number, providing service and companion dogs to our disabled veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty. Partnering a hero with a specifically trained dog significantly reduces the incidence of suicide, and your support makes all the difference. Find out how you can help our American heroes. Join the pack at BigPawsCanine.com.
Now your scoop of the day, brought to you by FreshPatch.com, promo code radio. U.S. troops are being accused of drinking the entire beer supply for the city of Reykjavik, Iceland, during the NATO retreat this last 2 weeks ago. So the
Represent.
U.S. troops were there, and they drank them completely dry. So, in all fairness,
That's amazing.
how much beer do they have in Iceland? Is there a lot? I don't know.
I would assume so.
Haven't really checked into that. A study from the American College Health Association found that anxiety and panic attacks are on the rise with college students. I don't understand why you guys are so worried. What are you worked up about? Just take a deep breath. It's all going to be fine. A new study found that...
I'm not... You know what?
I know.
Sorry.
We're going to just move on. Hey, Heidi, don't let this anxiety and panic attacks... Don't let this stuff...
I'm not going to say a
Don't
word.
let it wear you down, baby. It's going to be okay. There's a study here that found that people who give up smoking marijuana will quickly improve their memory. So if you keep forgetting things and you smoke marijuana, they say if you quit smoking marijuana, you'll instantly remember things. Like,
isn't that crazy?
Yeah. It's
like where you put your keys.
Yeah, and where you parked your car. And, I don't know, probably some other things. We'll just move on. A video that has gone viral kind of makes me chuckle. It's a cat that wandered onto a fashion runway in Turkey. What?
Okay.
So they got people doing the catwalk, walking the catwalk, and then there's an actual cat that's doing an actual catwalk down.
Was he in clothes?
The catwalk. No.
Oh, that would have been funny.
It would have been very funny. Well, he was wearing fur. Does that count?
No.
It's like, I thought we were going to have a no fur fashion show. But an actual cat on an actual catwalk in Turkey. I got a link to the video if you want to see it. It was, I don't know. Maybe it wasn't as funny as I thought it was, but I just thought it was kind of funny. A British woman who claims to have slept with 20 ghosts is saying that she is now engaged to a ghost.
Isn't that nice?
What's up, boo? Would that be a good nickname if you're going to marry a ghost? I don't. I got to stop for a second here. Every once in a while, I'll talk to decent people, in the real world. And we'll talk about the fact that we have a radio program. And then they'll say, oh, what do you guys talk about on your show? We talk about people who are marrying a ghost and cats on the catwalk. I mean, really? Is that what our program has become?
Oh, gosh.
We got to move on. There's got to be something better. How about this one? Probably not. A worker infected the entire computer network in the U.S. Department of the Interior when he downloaded over 9,000 pornographic films onto his computer at work.
Oh, well, that's super.
Yeah, that's a bad plan. Don't do that. 9,000 pornographic films? I mean...
They clearly need to give him a little more to do.
Yeah, I think he needs a lot more to do. I don't know. I'm just thinking, I don't know if I've seen 9,000 films in my entire life.
Oh, I bet you've seen that.
I don't know. I'm looking, we got, what do we have at our house? Maybe a couple hundred movies?
And just because he downloaded all those doesn't mean he watched all those. Maybe he got like a deal.
I don't know. I have no idea. Should be. Like
click
the
this
Columbia.
button and you get all of these
Columbia
videos.
House porn collection. Is that what they have now? For just 1 penny. Do you remember those, the CD collections?
Oh, yeah.
Did you
I used
have
to
those?
do them repeatedly.
Did you really? I did that
yes.
too. Wasn't there an episode of the
Goldbergs.
The Goldbergs where they talked about that?
Yes, there was.
Yeah, that's funny stuff. And I got one last story we're going to get to here because I'm not going to leave you on that. That was a terrible story. So let's move on to this one. Nah, that's terrible too. Is there anything good in here? How about this one? No, that's bad. No, I need better stories. All right, we're going to end on this one because at least it's not the other one. The makers of Brewdog Beer are launching the first ever craft beer airline where, quote, the beer will flow like water. So
I love that.
As you're traveling, if you feel like, hey, I want to get on the booziest airplane I possibly can, they're going to have that. Now, I'm hoping the pilots are not partaking in this.
No, I'm sure
Really
they're
bad.
not.
We're coming in on runway 2 or 3 or 4. They all kind of look the same to me. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Are you trying to find the perfect gift for someone with a good sense of humor? FunkyMonkeyShirts.com has a good selection of funny t-shirts and more. Some with Christmas themes. One that even replaces the ugly Christmas sweater for your next party. Find some silly shirts at FunkyMonkeyShirts.com. Also, learn how you can sell your own designs to make some extra Christmas cash. There's a link at the bottom of the page at FunkyMonkeyShirts.com. FunkyMonkeyShirts.com. That's FunkyMonkeyShirts.com.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We have a special guest joining us today, Valerie Jones. She's the author of a cool new book, Nonprofit Hero, 5 Easy Steps to Successful Board Fundraising. Valerie, I've been involved in many nonprofits over the years, and I guarantee you there are going to be a lot of very welcome boards that are going to be looking at this saying, hey, we need some help. This is always an area they need help, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I'm sorry to say, but that's why I wrote the book. There's more than 10 million of you board members sitting on nonprofit boards in the United States. And I got to tell you, John, you're not alone. More than half of them hate to do the one thing upon which their nonprofit depends, which is fundraising.
And that's one of the things that, when people reach out looking for help, we always do whatever we possibly can here at the station, because I know how hard it is to put these events together, and I know how hard it is to, to raise the funds, to do those important things that committee does, that organization does. Fundraising shouldn't be this major problem, but it seems like sometimes that's just the thing you have to do so we can do the things that we need to do.
Right. And a lot of people are more than happy to serve on boards. They'll do almost anything other than fundraise, like they'll give money. And one of the things you mentioned is important in terms of we focus on events a lot, but that's actually, although those are really important in engaging people, what makes the most difference, like the number one reason why someone makes a gift to a nonprofit, is because they like the person who asked them and they want to help. So those one-on-one connections are the most effective and usually the largest gifts. So that's what people have the most problem with. So most of us don't have a hard time like saying, oh, come to a party, blah, blah, blah. But in terms of a face-to-face ask, that's what people struggle with. And that's why I wrote the book, to make it easy and start with the things that people are comfortable with. Like most of us were raised right. Our mothers taught us to say please and thank you. So just starting board members with thanking the donors that they already have is huge.
Absolutely. And Valerie Jones, our guest right now, who has written this book, Nonprofit Hero, she has a little bit of a background in this, and you've done okay. I see you've raised over $175 million, so you kind of know what you're talking about, don't you?
Yeah, and actually, people assume that's for big organizations, and although I have worked for large organizations, most of the organizations I work with are sort of small to middle size. So that's $175 million, and a lot of those are like $1,000 to $5,000 gifts, which might sound big to some of your audiences, but for Harvard, it doesn't even register as a blip. I mean, I love Harvard, but, the really big organizations ask for larger gifts, but the hard ones sometimes are the smaller organizations that aren't necessarily a household name, and those are the ones that I love to work with, and then I try to help.
Now, over the years that you've been helping nonprofits and helping people do the fundraising, are there some common things that you kept seeing over and over and over? And is that kind of part of why this book, Nonprofit Hero, is out?
Yeah, sure. So I've trained more than 1,000 people, volunteers and professionals, to raise and fundraise, ask for money in ways that are comfortable, authentic, and effective. And the ways that we do that are, I look at, first of all, their own personal asking style. Like a lot of us just are good soldiers, we say, oh, we're on this board and we got to do it and we hate doing it. So we take all those feelings of like, oh, I'm afraid to ask and they won't like me, or my friends will avoid me. Like I want everybody to honor those feelings. So part of what the book teaches, Nonprofit Hero teaches, is how you can use that. Like, don't pretend you're not feeling those things. Feel those things. And then one of the things that I've developed, which has helped a lot of people, is that the flip side of your greatest fear in fundraising is usually your greatest strength.
Yeah.
So, for example, if your greatest fear is that you don't want to put your friends in an awkward position, then you probably have really good social skills. And you're probably really good at cultivating and engaging them in activities and getting a sense of whether they care about your nonprofit or not. And one of the things the book Nonprofit Hero also teaches is we don't need everyone to give to our causes. It's more important to find a few people that are going to fall in love with your nonprofit and to hang with you and to stay with you like the good friends you have rather than just acquaintances than to do this scattershot approach, which nobody is comfortable with. I mean, who wants to hear, to pick up the phone in the evening and have somebody asking you for money?
Yeah.
Even if you love the cause, it's like, you know what, just send me something.
Absolutely.
So that's the opposite of the kind of fundraising that I'm talking about, and then I teach people to be successful with.
Well, again, our guest today, Valerie Jones. She's the author of a brand new book called Nonprofit Hero, 5 Easy Steps to Successful Board Fundraising. And when I say brand new, I mean it's available next Friday. People can pre-order it now. We'll have a link to the details on all of that, and it's available on digital formats now. Valerie, thank you so much for taking the time to chat, and thank you for putting your heart into this. I appreciate that a bunch.
You are very welcome, and thanks for giving us a chance to make more of those board members sitting out there and all the volunteers that have causes they love be nonprofit heroes. They are my heroes.
Absolutely. The book is called Nonprofit Hero, and a big thank you to all of the nonprofit heroes that are out there, all the people that roll up their sleeves and help make good things happen, and to the people who say yes when you have somebody call. Thank you for that. Absolutely. All of the details on how you can get the book in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com.
John and Heidi.
If you want to grow your business, you can add more customers or sell more stuff to your current customers or a combination of both. There's no other way to grow your business. Just those two. Add more customers or sell more stuff to your current customers. And if you already have a relationship with your customers and you have their email address, you can reach out to them with special offers to easily grow your sales, and you'll make your customers even happier. Let the experts at Constant Contact help. Get a free trial now. Text Radio Trial to number 22828. That's Radio Trial, all one word, to number 22828.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
All mammals take about 12 seconds to defecate, regardless of size. So I'm clearly doing something wrong. I can check all.
Doesn't defecate mean
go to the bathroom?
Number 2.
Yeah. So,
but that's not
seconds.
the case. It's
no. All mammals
12
take 12
seconds.
seconds.
Is number 1.
No.
Yes.
No, it is not. Number 1
is.
No, that was 21 seconds, Heidi.
No, 12 seconds to go number 2. There's no way.
That's what the story says. I am not saying.
Have you watched Miley out in our front yard, our little dog?
Oh yeah.
Way longer than 12
I know.
seconds.
Our dogs, I think they need to drink more water. And I'm not going to go into too many details here, but I can read an entire magazine, so I'm pretty sure.
Yes, you can.
Let's move on. This has been a fun fact. Oh, I'm blushing now. Nice to get to know you. You want to talk about anything even more personal? I didn't think so. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
FreshPatch.com is making dogs like me happy. They send out real grass pads for us to use indoors. Now when it's cold outside, I can go inside. And when I've used up the real grass patch, the mailman brings me a new Fresh Patch. It's the best idea since doggy treats. Convince your mommy to try it today. I suggest you try Puppy Dog Eyes. FreshPatch.com. Use promo code RADIO to save 10%. That's FreshPatch.com. Promo code RADIO.
Time now for a weird word on this beautiful day. What is today? Friday. They kind of blend together at a certain point.
It's a long week.
The fun word today is factotum. What do you think factotum means, Heidi?
Factotum?
F-A-C-T-O-T-U-M. Factotum. Factotum.
I don't know.
It is someone whose job is to do many different jobs for someone else. It is an employee who does all kinds of work. Factotum. A person having many diverse activities or responsibilities. Factotum. A general servant is a factotum, and a handyman is a factotum. So if you know somebody who's a handyman, you can say, oh, hey, you're quite the factotum. And then they'll probably hit you with a pipe wrench.
Yeah, it doesn't sound very nice.
No, it doesn't. You factotum. Like, what did you call me? You better not be too attached to those front teeth, my friend. Factotum. Today's very weird, grandiloquent word.
Want to honor a veteran? Consider giving to Veterans Tickets Foundation, a national nonprofit who supports our currently serving military, veterans, and family members of those we've lost in action by providing them with free tickets to sporting events, concerts, performing arts, and family activities. VetTix is dedicated to giving back to those who gave us so much. Learn how you can help at vettix.org. VetTix.org.
Are you ready for some weird news?
Sure.
Let me dig deep into the weird news file for this one. Bay Area Rapid Transit, also known as BART, they had a very interesting thing happen recently. And they have a lot of weird stuff that happens there, but this was even more unusual than the usual unusual, if you know what I mean. It says, we've never seen anything like this before. A woman tweeted a video to BART showing a man on BART, like on the subway train, holding a chainsaw, and then opening another box that had another chainsaw. She tweeted, I had to film it just in case Bleep got sick. You know, He kept calling himself the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Then he said he was the Bart Massacre. Bart reported to the police. They had many calls about the incident, and officers positioned themselves to board the train at Lake Merritt. When the man got off the train, he was identified as 47-year-old Patrick Bingham of San Francisco, taken into custody for having several outstanding arrest warrants and for making threats. Here's the thing. If you're wanted for a bunch of arrest warrants, maybe don't carry 2 chainsaws around on a subway.
Yeah, probably
That's
not
just
the smartest of moves.
No, probably not a good way to, blend in. Just letting you know. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Here's a page out of the Moment of Duh playbook, Heidi. A South Carolina chef exposed himself, his buttocks, and much more at an event showcasing women-owned businesses. He said he will seek counseling. Mike Ray, this story is so bizarre. Mike Ray tells the newspaper that he was doing an interview with that he's always been the life of the party. But he says he realized pulling his pants down, quote, didn't go over so well. Around 40 people had gathered Friday at Ray's One Broad for a reception. Is that a weird name to have a place?
That's a very weird name, especially to have a women's
women-owned business event. None of this makes sense to me. It featured designers and high-end artisans and goods dealers. Anyway, the event organizers say Ray put himself between a camera and 3 women before dropping his pants all the way to his ankles. He's apologized to the people involved, but organizer Erin Reitz said she just called her husband. Ray announced Monday he's giving up all of his day-to-day duties now at the place. Police are investigating. What a weird story.
You have had nothing but naughty stories today.
Isn't
all of your stories
I'm
are
not trying.
naughty.
It's not my fault, Heidi. That's what happens in the world when we're looking the other way. I mean, I step away for 2 seconds.
I miss all the good stuff.
Step away for 2 seconds and look what happens. You people need somebody to be in charge around here. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
Every day, approximately 23 U.S. military veterans take their own lives. Big Paws Canine Foundation is helping to decrease that number, providing service and companion dogs to our disabled veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty. Partnering a hero with a specifically trained dog significantly reduces the incidence of suicide, and your support makes all the difference. Find out how you can help our American heroes. Join the pack at BigPawsCanine.com.
Time now for fake news or Florida. Heidi has to try to tell me if this is a true story that happened in the great state of Florida, or is it fake news, a bunch of flubbery, something we made up just to see if we could fool my extremely beautiful wife. Are you ready?
I am ready.
All right, tell me. Fake news or Florida? A defense attorney's pants caught on fire while he was delivering a closing argument in an arson case. Fake news or Florida?
That was Florida. We've said that one before.
You know, I think that we did.
Yeah.
So why did I have
it? But that is awesome. I think that's
liar, liar, pants on fire.
Hilarious.
An arson case and his pants caught on fire. What are the odds of that? Well, again, 100%.
I would like to know
happen.
the details about what happened there. Like, did he have a lit cigarette in his pocket, or
I've
what
got
on
a link
earth
to
was
the
going
story.
on?
His arson client was over there lighting things. Your Honor, I think he's guilty. Why? Because he's lighting stuff on fire right now.
He just lit my pants on fire.
All right. This has been fake news or Florida. Some good news is on the way.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news, and I've got a good news story for you here, Heidi. I really like this. The Halloween holiday was just a little over a week ago, and there are some stories that are trickling out now about people doing dumb stuff, and
Okay.
we've had some of those, and I think we got another one maybe even coming up. But this is a good news story. It says we wanted to bring a sweet reminder that Halloween is not all tricks and treats. There's some kindness too. Anyone that's ever been trick or treating is familiar with the sensation of seeing an empty bowl sitting in front of somebody's house. They get up there promising candy, only to discover, no, not this time. Well, Hayden Chappell of Idaho Falls experienced this same scenario while he was trick-or-treating, except for one thing. The Robertson family had left a bowl of candy on their door stoop so they could take their daughter trick-or-treating, and they left a sign that says, do a trick or treat and smile, you're on camera. They say they like leaving out the camera because it's fun to review the footage later and see the kids making goofy faces and all of that. But they weren't disappointed for long. After a few minutes, Hayden walked up to the bowl with his mother. He's 11, by the way. And he was dressed as a character from Stranger Things. He saw that the bowl was empty and there were other children coming, so not wanting them to get sad, he reached into his bag and pulled out some of his candy.
Aww.
And it was some of his favorites, Skittles and Snickers. And he threw that in the bowl for the other kids. What a cool kid, man.
What a very, very sweet
That
thing.
is a really cool story. I saw that and I just thought, wow, this is neat. There's even a link to the video if you want to see the kid do it. Just a very cool thing. So
That is so sweet.
Absolutely.
I
And-
love kind-hearted children.
And-
It just makes there's hope for the future, you
And
know?
like I said, that I know that's from last week, but I wanted to read it because it was just a cool story, and it's finally making its ways around the internet. Thank you so much for listening to some good news and the John and Heidi Show. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. I've got a link to this good news story and much, much more in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com.